Sehr geehrter Herr Bundespräsident, ich weiß nicht, wie ich Ihnen für Ihre überaus freundlichen Worte.
People are starting to talk. Something does not seem right inside Buckingham Palace. Not long after King Charles was crowned, news broke about his diagnosis, which has thrown the royal family into a tough spot. Now, even more questions exist after the word hospice appeared on the royal website. At the same time, Princess Kate is also recovering from cancer, and Prince William has been left to take on most of the royal duties by himself. Could they be keeping more secrets than they are sharing with the public? And what does all this mean for the future of the monarchy? Join us as we dive into the royal family's biggest storm yet, one that could rewrite everything the world thought it knew about the monarchy. Crisis behind palace walls. The British royal family is going through one of its most uncertain times in history. At the heart of it is King Charles, who is alleged to be seriously ill, and this has caused a lot of concern both within the palace and among the public. People are talking more and more about his condition, and many are starting to question whether his time as king might be coming to an end. To make things even more complicated, another top royal is also dealing with health problems, which has made the royal family's situation feel even more unstable. In early 2024, Buckingham Palace made a surprising announcement that King Charles had been diagnosed with cancer. They didn't reveal what kind it was, and that lack of detail has made people even more curious. The silence from the palace has caused a lot of worry and sparked many rumors as people try to guess what might be happening. With no clear answers, the public is growing more uneasy, and there are serious concerns about whether the royal family is prepared for what could happen next. Even with all the talk and rumors, King Charles still handled some of his duties. Although he reduced his public appearances, he remains dedicated to serving the country. But the changes in his schedule suggest that his illness might be more serious than people first thought. His choice to focus on improving has made people wonder if the royal family is strong enough to handle this difficult time. While many are hoping for more information, the palace has remained quiet, confusing the situation. Before looking at how the king's illness might affect the monarchy, it is important to understand his background and how he came to the throne. Before becoming king, he held several titles, including Prince of Wales and Duke of Cornwall. His full name is Charles Philip Arthur George, and he was born into the royal family. His life was shaped by formal education, military service, and years of royal responsibilities, which prepared him for his current role during this challenging period. His early life and education significantly shaped his character and prepared him for the responsibilities of monarchy. How did these formative experiences influence his approach to leadership and public service? From classroom to crown. Born on November 14, 1948, at Buckingham Palace, Charles Philip Arthur George was the first child of Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Upon his mother's ascension to the throne in 1952, as Queen Elizabeth II, Charles became the heir apparent, inheriting titles such as Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Rothesay, Earl of Carrick, Baron Renfrew, Lord of the Isles, and Prince and Great Steward of Scotland. Breaking from royal tradition, Charles received formal education outside the palace. He began at Hill House School in London, then moved to Cheam School in Berkshire, and later attended Gordonstoun School in Scotland, which his father had also attended. In 1966, he spent 2 terms as an exchange student at Timbertop, a remote campus of Geelong Grammar School in Melbourne, Australia. In 1967, Charles enrolled at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he studied archaeology and anthropology before switching to history. He graduated in 1970 with a Bachelor of Arts degree, becoming the first British heir apparent to earn a university degree. Charles pursued military training after his education, serving in the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy from 1971 to 1976. He trained as a jet pilot at RAF Cranwell and later served on various naval vessels, including the HMS Norfolk, the HMS Minerva, and the HMS Jupiter. Charles's years in the military polished his image as the perfect royal, sharp, loyal, untouchable. But while the world watched him soar in uniform, was his heart already tangled in a forbidden affair? Love, loss, and legacy. King Charles III is a skilled pilot with extensive training in various aircraft. He learned to fly the Chipmunk, a basic trainer aircraft, and advanced to more complex planes like the Harrier T Mark IV Vertical, Short Takeoff, and Landing Fighter, the BAC Jet Provost Jet Trainer, and Nimrod Maritime Patrol aircraft. Beyond aviation, he is strongly interested in architecture and urban planning, advocating for traditional designs.
I trust you'll keep me reasonably young in some aspects.
And sustainable communities. Charles took his royal duties seriously and followed the rules, but his personal life was different. In 1981, he got engaged to Lady Diana Spencer, and people worldwide were very interested. Their wedding on July 29th was a big event watched by millions, and it looked like a fairy tale. Diana became the Princess of Wales, and they later had 2 sons, Prince William in 1982 and Prince Harry in 1984. By 1992, they were clearly having problems, and it was announced that they had separated. They still planned to raise their sons together and continue their royal work. Some years later, they got divorced. Then, on August 31st, 1997, something unfortunate happened. Princess Diana died in a car crash in Paris. The news shocked the world, and many people felt deep sadness. About 2.5 billion people watched her funeral. At that time, Prince William was 15 and Prince Harry was just 12, making it even harder for them and the country. After this, people paid a lot of attention to Charles's relationship with Camilla Shand. There had been talk about them during his first marriage, and later they confirmed they were together. They got married years later. Camilla came from a wealthy family and enjoyed spending time outdoors. She grew up in East Sussex, worked briefly as a receptionist, and became part of high society, where she met Charles. Even though many people didn't like the relationship at first, they stayed close, and their marriage marked a new chapter for the royal family. Their public romance may have seemed like a fresh start, but the roots of their relationship stretched far deeper than most people realized. Before their vows were exchanged, had destiny begun writing their royal love story. The romantic scandal. Camilla was well known for being lively, charming, and the kind of woman who lit up any room. She moved in social circles and was popular among the elite. In 1970, she reportedly met Prince Charles at a polo match, long before they married. During their first conversation, Camilla is said to have teased him by pointing out that her great-grandmother had once been the mistress of his great-great-grandfather, King Edward VII. The two began dating soon after, but marriage was out of the question. Charles was considered too young, and many in the royal family believed Camilla was not the right match for a future king, partly because she did not come from aristocracy. Everything changed in 1973, when Charles left for a long naval deployment. While he was away, Camilla rekindled her relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles, a man she had dated before and who had also dated Princess Anne. They went on to have 2 children, Tom and Laura. Meanwhile, Charles also moved on, eventually giving in to pressure from his mother to marry Lady Diana Spencer. Even so, Camilla and her husband remained part of Charles's close social circle. By 1986, although both were married, Charles and Camilla had resumed their relationship secretly.
Building people up onto a pedestal. The moment that happens, along comes a separate.
In 1992, when Charles and Diana officially separated, Diana made it clear that Camilla had played a role in the breakdown of their marriage. Things got even worse in 1993 when the media released a private phone call between Charles and Camilla, which shocked the public. A year later, in 1994, Charles admitted to the affair during a television interview, confirming what many had already suspected. Camilla's marriage began to fall apart as the scandal grew, and in 1995, she divorced Andrew Parker Bowles. He later married someone else. The affair between Charles and Camilla became one of the most talked-about royal stories of all time, marked by secrets, heartbreak, and a love that refused to end. Despite the scandal, Charles stood firmly by Camilla's side, refusing to let public opinion decide his future. But after years of secrecy and public backlash, could the woman once blamed for breaking a fairy tale become part of the royal story herself? Crown after controversy. It wasn't an easy road. Camilla said those early years were difficult and uncomfortable. Even so, she and Prince Charles stayed together. Charles told his advisors that he would not end his relationship with her, no matter what. To help people see her in a better light, the royal family slowly began to include Camilla in public life and worked to improve how she was caught. By 1998, she had reportedly met Prince William and Prince Harry for the first time. Camilla and Prince Charles were seen together in public at her sister's birthday party the following year. It was a small moment, but an important one. After that, they slowly began to appear together more often. As time passed, people and the media started to accept their relationship. On February 10, 2005, they announced their engagement, and Queen Elizabeth II gave her support. Their wedding was planned for April 8th, but it was moved to April 9th so Charles could attend the funeral of Pope John Paul II. On April 9th, Camilla and Charles got married in a civil ceremony held by the government and not in a church. After the wedding, there was a church service with prayers and blessings. Camilla officially became the Princess of Wales by marrying Charles, but she decided not to use that title out of respect for the public and for Princess Diana's memory. Instead, she took the title of Duchess of Cornwall, one of Charles's other royal titles. Some people felt that Charles had gone against royal traditions, but he never let his personal life get in the way of his royal responsibilities. In fact, what came next proved just how committed he was to his role in the monarchy. After the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in the year 2022, Charles, then the Prince of Wales, was next in line. As tradition required, he was crowned King Charles III, stepping into the position left behind by his mother. But when the world thought it had seen it all, the royal family made a surprising announcement shortly after his coronation. The coronation felt like a fresh start for the royal family, offering hope after so much change. But with everything that followed, was the king already battling something the public didn't see? Silence in the palace. In September 2022, King Charles gave his first TV speech as king. He spoke warmly about his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who had just passed. He promised to follow the UK's rules as long as he lived. He also named his oldest son, Prince William, the Prince of Wales. Later, on May 6, 2023, King Charles was crowned king in a special ceremony. This was the first coronation in 70 years and was led by Archbishop Justin Welby. The coronation of King Charles III broke many long-standing traditions and embraced a new era. For the first time in British history, women bishops played a role in the ceremony, and the service included prayers and songs in multiple native languages: Welsh, Scots Gaelic, and Irish, showing respect for the rich heritage of the United Kingdom. In a powerful gesture of inclusion, representatives from the Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, and Sikh communities in the House of Lords were chosen to present the royal symbols. In early 2024, Buckingham Palace announced that King Charles, who was 75 years old, had cancer. They didn't share many details, but made clear it wasn't connected to his enlarged prostate treatment from the month before. During that procedure, doctors found a different health problem, which tests showed was cancer. The king started treatment immediately and took a break from his public work. At the same time, the royal family faced more difficulty when it was announced that Catherine, Princess of Wales, also had cancer, which was found after she had surgery on her abdomen. King Charles III decided to speak openly about his illness, hoping that honesty would help the public understand and reduce unnecessary speculation. Still, Buckingham Palace chose not to reveal the exact kind of cancer he was facing, which only stirred more questions than answers. Across the country, concern grew, with many wondering if there was more to the story than officials were willing to share.
Alongside the personal grief that all my family are feeling, we also share with so many of you.
The lack of detail has left room for doubt, fueling quiet anxiety and whispered fears. As the royal household moves through this challenging chapter, uncertainty hangs heavily over the monarchy and the people watching closely. The palace might have hoped that sharing a little would calm the storm, but their silence only made the whispers louder. Was there something they desperately tried to hide, or was the truth too heavy for the public to hear? Behind the palace walls, the royal family announced that the king was unwell, but they did not share much information, which led to even more questions and growing concern among the public. While the king was seen at a few events and carried out some official duties, many believed these appearances were carefully planned to make everything seem fine. Some felt the palace was trying to protect the monarchy's image, even if the truth behind the scenes was more serious. As a result, many began to wonder just how bad the situation was and whether the public was being told the whole story. Worry grew after something unusual appeared on the royal family's official website.
We could put that back. Even just hedgerow trees and hedges, they will capture a lot of carbon. Plus, avenues.
For a short time, the king's profile said he was receiving supportive care using the term hospice, a term often linked to serious illness and care given near the end of life. In the United Kingdom, this kind of care is usually offered to people who are very sick and expected to live for only a few months, focusing more on comfort than on treatment. Although the palace quickly blamed it on a technical error, the news spread quickly, and many people began to wonder what was happening. Though royal officials said the king was still dedicated to his job, people kept talking and guessing. King Charles became an outpatient, meaning he could do some royal work while getting treatment. However, quietly, the royal family started talking again about Operation Menai Bridge. This official plan describes what will happen when the king dies, including how they will tell everyone and how the country will mourn.
My lords and members of the House of Commons,
when they began discussing this plan again, it worried everyone. As concerns about the king's health quietly grew, another royal faced her private battle away from the cameras. With both Charles and Catherine facing serious health issues at the same time, could the weight of the crown be falling too heavily on the next in line? Shadows over the throne. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, stepped away from public life for several months to focus on her health and recovery. During this time, she paused her royal duties and handed over her responsibilities to other royal family members. Prince William took on more tasks to help cover her absence, while senior royals also worked to keep up with public engagements. It was a calm but clear break in Kate's royal role, led by a real need to rest and care for herself.
Then they called the last minute, parents' face, and
now that she is getting better, the princess has slowly started going to public events again, including a visit to the Royal Marsden, the hospital where she got her cancer treatment. She also became a joint patron of the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust, sharing the role with Prince William. Even though she is back in the public eye, her schedule is light so she can rest and recover. Despite her return, public reactions have been mixed. Some have noticed changes in her appearance and demeanor, suggesting she seems more fragile and quieter. This has led to speculation about whether she has recovered or is simply making appearances to maintain the royal family's image.
What it is.
what it is, exactly, and how we can support not only ourselves but each other as well.
These questions come at a time when the monarchy is facing multiple challenges, and many wonder how this uncertainty will shape the future of the royal household. At the heart of these concerns is Prince William, the next in line to the throne. As the eldest son of King Charles and the late Princess Diana, William has long carried the weight of royal expectation. Unlike his predecessors, he was born in a hospital and raised with a sense of normalcy, thanks to his mother's efforts to give him and Prince Harry a childhood that included trips on the bus, meals at fast food places, and visits to charities. Watching his parents struggle in public, William promised himself a different path built on compassion and service. With all the rumors surrounding King Charles's health and Kate's slow return,
that by your service and ministry to all your people,
is the monarchy truly as stable as it seems? And when the crown eventually passes, will William rise or falter under the pressure? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.